Hello and welcome to another episode of Parallel. What the fuck, John?
Can't say that anymore, bro.
Alright. Okay, I guess this is as good a time as any. We actually can't say Perils of the War. I'm just saying this is per the actual cease and desist letter. We can't say Perils of the Warp. It's copywritten, so...
And we could say Barrels of the Warp during the podcast because,
I guess
we're talking about a game that uses the rule, but we can't name it Perils of the Warp anymore. So, you know what? 2020, new year, new me, what's up?
New year, new podcast. We are fucking with you. We didn't get a cease and desist letter, but we're actually preparing... We're future-proofing, if you could say. Just because we know that we've been slacking. We know we didn't record a podcast for maybe 4 months. Maybe. It could have been longer. So we're trying to fix that. Me and John actually have ideas on how to remedy that. So first state of business is my name is Roman.
My name is John.
Alright, and this is actually, we're going to rename the podcast, so it's not going to be Perils of the Warp anymore. It still will be under Grimworks, it'll still be all of that. If you're listening to this on iTunes or any of your podcast catchers, you're still going to get the new podcast, the new Warhammer podcast. And if you're listening to this on YouTube, same thing. It's going to be uploaded onto the same channels. The name is just going to change, and we're going to renumber it, so to speak. So... the new name, drum roll please, John, is The Lost Chapters. So, the reason we picked the name is twofold. We all know that there was once 20 legions, and now there's 18. So, those two lost chapters, see what we did there? So we did it one way there. The other way you could interpret it is books. We're super
Books
heavily
and
into
scrolls.
lore and all that kind of stuff. So every once in a while we'll have some lore episodes. And yeah, it's called The Lost Chapters. There's also a little bit more on that. If you do want to subscribe to our Instagram account, you can find us at the.lost.chapters. So just remember the Lost Chapters, just between every word, just put a period. That is where we're going to be updating more things for the podcast, as well as any kind of like hobby progress that we want to showcase. So
There's already pictures up of like the last two or three previous Alamo GTs that were hosted here by Red Star Gaming in San Antonio, Texas.
Yep.
There's some really great looking armies that I was able to take a picture of. So some of that stuff is already up. So go ahead and take a look at that.
So if you want to just give us a follow there, that's what we'll be updating a little more. I don't want to say we're going to do like a picture a day to kind of do that, but whenever we do have hobby progress or anything that we do want to show off, we'll put it up there. Hopefully you find it as cool as we do. I know that once I am done with a particular little thing, I will put it up online. I'll take better pictures if I can.
And also, Red Star Gaming, we tend to get together several times throughout the year to do charity events to benefit our community, our city of San Antonio. And so we generate a lot of pictures, and so those will be going up as well. I haven't put up the pictures from the last couple of charities, I don't believe, but they will be going up.
Okay, yeah. And again, if you do want to have any kind of comments and you're listening to this on YouTube, much appreciated. You give us a little thumbs up, and if you want to subscribe to the channel, that'd be cool. If you want to leave any comments, you can go ahead and leave them down below. Just go ahead if you want to comment. That's pretty much the only bit of business. Now, why we've been gone? Laziness, just pure fucking laziness. It's partly that, it's partly work. I know that John works odd fucking hours, and I know that my schedule doesn't just jive with his all that much. So it's hard to find a recording time, especially with John, who has the mental capacity of a koala. He falls asleep if you don't go back to him for 10 minutes. He's fucking out. So John, the constitution of a koala smith. And then me, well, I just get lazy and I get in my depressed moods where I don't want to do shit and I just want to lay in bed for a while. Days on end. So we apologize.
Sorry.
We are now, and I know we've fucking gone through this before, but we've now actually come up with a consistent plan of how we're going to do these episodes. We're going to cut a few things. We're going to more concentrate on the things that we love about wargaming, and we're going to have more interviews concerning different topics. So later on in this episode, we actually have a little interview with Caesar Alzaga, or John does. I was there, but as you can tell by my voice, I'm not sick. I think my allergies are just really fucking with me right now. I have toilet paper in one of my nostrils right now.
It's gross.
It is very gross because it gets wet and I have to constantly keep changing it. So you hear the wet thud in a trash can. No, but yeah, we're gonna have a interview with him, and it's concerning the Fill the Van event they're gonna be having on January 18th, which is a Saturday, starting at 4 p.m. at Dragon's Lair Alamo Ranch. It's what is the charity? Do you remember the charity name?
No.
That's a no. I already saw the blank fucking glassy-eyed.
Luckily, all of that is discussed in the interview.
Yes,
so.
But it is a good charity, a great charity that me and John plan to donate to. I probably won't be there because of work, because it's on a Saturday and I work Saturdays. But I will be donating to the cause. You'll know more about that towards the end of the episode. That's one of the things that we're going to do is we're going to have a little more interviews with different people in the community concerning just different games, what they feel about everything. Just so that kind of takes the burden off of me and John. You know, when we have a smaller window to record, we can record, you know, this little pre-ramble and make sure that, you know, we give you our thoughts, whatever we're going to have, and then we kind of transition over to an interview, which should take the pressure off of us when we actually record or when we have to record, because we already have interviews to kind of splice in where we need it.
And like Roman was saying, we have a better layout plan for how we're going to be approaching the podcast moving forward. Previously, with the Perils of the Warp podcast, it was primarily like 20 minutes of hobby progress and then 30 minutes of what's coming out. But I am shit at hobby progress. Roman's a lot better at that than me. And also anybody with a social media account of any kind already knows what's coming out. So I don't think you need us telling you something that you already know consistently, especially when we're doing bi-weekly episodes for all you bisexuals, and you already know what's coming out by the time you hear an episode.
Yeah. So in terms of hobby progress, honestly, my hobby progress will probably be on the Instagram. I'll probably try to do a little, at least a once a week kind of hobby progress for what I've done for the week. For two reasons: for actual content for that Instagram, as well as kind of keep me in check, because I was pretty bad about hobby progress in 2019. So I actually do have a list of some hobby related resolutions for this year that I'll probably go over. I don't think John has particular goals set for like resolutions for the hobby. I think he flies by the seat of his ass, and I tend to be a little more regimented. But currently, right now, just to let y'all know, I'm working on a Blood Angels commission. It's pretty cool because it has some 30k jet bikes, so I'm kind of excited about that. But yesterday, it took about 12 hours for me to do 10 dudes, and I bemoaned my my slow painting style. I tried to speed it up with another, I tried something. I now know that doesn't work. my whole thing was, oh, okay, I'll just, because there's some Death Company in there, right? So you're thinking black, all right, black's done. Especially since it's tabletop, I'm not doing a lot of like highlighting things like that. So I ended up saying like, oh, they have red weapons, so let me just airbrush some red, and then I'll clean up wherever it goes. And I was taking it another step further, where I was like, oh, let me do the tabards, because they have like these like the regular kind of tan tabards. Then it got everywhere, and I was like, fuck, I just made a whole lot more work for myself. So tried something new, didn't work as planned. That's how you get better at the hobby. Fuck a trial and error, basically. So that's pretty much what I've been doing. I've been steadily working on my Luna Wolves for 30k, which they're coming to a close. I think I have everything that I need for like a pretty good list, which we'll talk about later. But that's pretty much my hobby progress. John, you don't really have anything. So I'll just update hobby progress on the lost chapters, as you say. Yeah. Regarding the news, yeah, it was pretty stupid of us to be like, hey, here's our take on the news. Who gives a shit about our take on the news? It doesn't really matter. You know what's coming out. We know what's coming out. You probably like it. I think it's okay. Kind of things like that. Like the Dark Angels Primaris dude. I was like, it looks okay. I like him more with the helmet than I do the face. And 40k, again, me and John have kind of drifted away from 40k. I know we talked about it previous episodes whenever. But I will dip my toe back in. I was telling John recently, I was just curious on Battlescribe, looked up some points values, saw that like some of the Dark Angel stuff like came down in price a lot, and I was like, oh, okay, I can actually, like Azrael, who was way overcosted, I think at 180, dropped down. I was like, all right, cool. Samael, fucking awesome. On his land speeder, he's still the same, and the only thing that I kind of regret is that the Talon Master, who's like he's like a lieutenant in a land speeder, is still like 190 points or something like that. It's kind of ridiculous, because considering a regular lieutenant is what, like 60 something points, and then a land speeder is about 55 points. So I don't know how like 115 point model is 180 points. It doesn't make sense to me, but hopefully when they come out with the third book in the, what is that campaign called?
Psychic Awakening.
Yeah, with the third book, it's cool because it has some Dark Angel stuff, it has some Grey Knight stuff, and it has Thousand Suns stuff. So all three of those little legions are going to get some updates, which they sorely need. So I'll check into 40k once that book comes out. I'll probably buy that book and kind of just see where it's at from there. So me and John have decided to dip our toe into another game. Another game that
I got dragged into this. It wasn't a decision.
me and John decided equally to get into this this new game. This new game from 2009, I think. I don't even remember when 8th edition was released. But we're talking about 8th edition fantasy. Now, the whole thing is, a lot of people tell me, why do you want to play fantasy? Why the fuck do you want to play 8th edition? It was garbage. Because I always thought it looked fun. It's just plain and simple. It's not because I'm at a point with my gaming is I just want to have fun. And AOS is fun. Like, I actually like AOS over 40k. I actually have an episode idea about the comparison of current 40k and AOS. So a little spoiler for y'all guys. In a future episode with John's help, I want to cover the AOS differences to 40k and why I like those differences better and why that game for me is more fun than current 40k. I want to play square bases. I've always liked the look of rank and flank, and I even told John, because I have a full, like, at this point I think I have about 3,000 points of Warriors of Chaos on square bases. They're all under bases. They're getting ready for paint and there are various steps of paint, And I told John, I was like, look at this. Look at how cool this looks when it's all just set up rank and flank. I have 20 dudes, a 20-man block of infantry with their swords and shields, and they're just looking to get into some battle. And I told him, look at it. Just look at it. What did you think?
I don't particularly care one way or the other, whether it's rank and file or whether it's spread out. The more that I look at this game, the more I'm like, okay, cool. I'll definitely give it a try.
Yeah.
Especially since you made me the offer of, if I buy the army, you will paint it.
Yeah, I think I made the offer on one of the episodes for Perils of the Warp.
So I went ahead and accepted that offer, and I went with Vampire Counts.
Yes, sir.
And I've already gotten myself about 3,000 points worth. I gotta start putting that together. Some of it's put together just so that Roman could start paint testing.
Yeah.
But I have still a lot of it that needs to be built. So once that gets built, I'll give it over to Roman for painting, and we'll definitely start playing this game. I've watched a few matches, especially on Mini Wargaming.
Yeah.
My favorite channel to watch battle reports.
Yeah. And I told John, the one thing he loves about wargaming is the psychic / magic kind of phases. He loves that. And I told him, dude, 8th edition fantasy is the craziest. It's broken in terms of that phase. Everybody talks about the 6-stun purple sun. So 6, you're gonna get off the big purple sun, and you're gonna absolutely destroy an army. It's no question. It's kind of like old Phosphex from 30K, the old rules where you just decimate everything because you have so many little pie plates that just affect the whole area, and then everything's gonna die in that. So it's sort of like that. It can severely it basically ends the game because you're getting rid of key units. And I don't care if John does that to me, which I'm sure he's going to. But that's the thing, is I just watch him play. I want to see how it is. I've always liked the idea of rank and flank. And I was so tempted in rank and flank, I wanted to actually try Kings of War. The thing that really kept me away from Kings of War is it's literally I go, you have no interaction. Then you go, I have no interaction. It sucks. I like interaction. Even in regular games of Warhammer, I have saves and I have Overwatch kind of things like that keep me into the turn, even though I'm not the one controlling the turn. That's still fun. It's still good. Kings of War is literally I move, I shoot, my magic, whatever. I think magic and shooting is all one thing in there. So you move, you shoot, magic, and you melee. But you have no saves. Your attacks you just hit, you wound, and that's it. And I literally just have to count down a little life counter until that unit's dead. That's just not fun. That doesn't seem fun to me. I like the idea of having they have the diorama bases, so you can have this huge diorama, and you can have 40 little dudes climbing over a hill or something, and it looks cool. It's super thematic. I still don't care. That doesn't matter because of the gameplay aspect. But yeah, we're gonna start fantasy. I'm hoping to I have everything already built up to where I can do a game. I'm hoping that John can at least, once he has his stuff built, we can have a little game, even if it's unpainted. I don't give a fuck. I just want to play the game. And then from there, I'll start painting a unit of his, a unit of mine, his, a unit of mine. So we'll be doing that. We've been playing, of course, 30K. When it comes to 30K, I still have my little elves. There's a few things that I want to get because I want to do 2 rites of war. I do 1 rite of war pretty consistently. Which, do you want to talk about that today, or you want to leave that for another episode?
I mean, you could talk about what you're playing with your Luna Wolves. We'll get more in depth later.
Okay, yeah. With my Luna Wolves, my rite of war, I'm usually using the Armored Spearhead. So everything basically that has an infantry keyword either starts in a tank or deep strike. They just start. They have to be covered basically. So that's what I'm usually running. So I now have 3 rhinos, 2 land raiders, a Spartan. I think those are all. Oh, 2 Sicarans. I so desperately want those sabers. But I think the reason I want those sabers is because the Ludowolves lack a big, fast attack unit, and it's something I can fill with like regular riders with like plasma pistols or like the twin plasma guns on bike. That's cool, but it ends up being so many points that I might as well, if I'm gonna run something like bikes, to run the jet bikes because they have a better jink. They just have a better cover or a better save altogether. Even though I might get less shots, it's just better in terms of like how it performs on the field. But the way I'm thinking of with the armor spearhead, I need something fast that can shoot something to shit. So 2 sabers with that fucking ridiculous cannon, the strength 8 AP2 fucking badass cannon, and then like some multi-melta, like a multi-melta on it or whatever. So yeah, I'll be getting at least 2 sabers and filling out that. The other Bread of War that I do want to try out is Drop Pod Assault with Malagurst. I still want to make him, a Luna Wolf. I want to make it, pre-heresy, like during the Crusade. So I want him to kind of like muster, all the different Reaver squads and assault squads. But those are kind of the 2 rights of war, and I'll get more to the Armored Spearhead in another episode. What about you, John?
Well, for 30K, I'm doing Iron Warriors. I'm working on, I think, 3 rights of war because Iron Warriors have 2 very good rights of war that are Iron Warriors exclusive, and then I still want to do the Drop Pod Assault.
Yeah.
I have the 30K Thousand Suns, the 30K Militia, and I'm working on Demons, primarily a Nurgle list for Demons of the Ruin Storm. And I got a little bit of Custodes, mostly just the Custodes that came with the Burning a Prospero box. I want to build up that a little bit more, and then I want to build up my Mechanicum for 30K a little bit more.
Nice.
And I know it sounds like a lot, and it is. I'm very stupid with my money. But one of the things that we are going to be talking about for the podcast moving forward is gameplay and interaction. And we want to be able to give you as many different points of views from as many different armies as possible in the games that we're playing. So that if you can't buy 5 armies, we'll help you narrow it down to something that you think you would enjoy playing.
Yeah. On my side, I haven't started just yet. I did want to do some EC, some Emperor's Children with Demon Allies of Slaanesh. I actually found this really cool D&D. I think it's called a Cloud Giant. And I just kind of looked at it, and it screamed Slaanesh for me. I was like, that kind of looks really cool. Maybe with like a little bit of bits here and there, a little bit of kit bashing, and a good paint job on it. I think that'll work really cool. John, through a deal, I'm working on his
It's my Lord of War demon.
Your Lord of War demon. It's a Nurgle, and it's a creature caster.
Creature Caster is amazing, by the way. People, if you have not looked at their website, I highly suggest that you do.
Yes. We'll run down some of our few our few favorites and some other episodes. But through that, I said, man, there's this cool little deal of these kind of these lady demons, these demons of the night, if you will, and they come on some scenic 40 mil bases, and they're pretty small. I was originally going to, because I thought they were going to be a bit bigger, I was going to use them for demon princes. And I thought, oh, okay, they make cool demon princes. They can have 3 different HQs. That'd be cool. They're too small for that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use those as my brutes because they're on 40 mils. Maybe put them on a different scenic base. Something that I think of. So those will be my brutes. I'll probably buy another.
I didn't realize they were that small.
Yeah, they're pretty small. They're about that big. So they're. I thought they were gonna be bigger, but just looking at them, I was like, okay, cool.
You do also have the option of using them as HQs, as basically the Herald.
Yeah.
I think they're Demon Heroes, maybe. I don't know what they're called.
Yeah, we'll run through that. I know that we did that in the past episode, kind of talking about the Demons of the Roadstorm. We'll get into the nitty gritty of that. Again, we have a lot of ideas for these episodes. Like we said, we fucked up, and we want to make sure that we make it right for the few of you that do listen. When it comes to that, so I was gonna start that. I was gonna go whole hog into that, but then Forge World decided to drop some fucking bombs on me, baby. They started dropping some DA stuff, and I was like, holy shit, all that shit looks cool. I want it now. And then they started doing this kind of Roach of Thramas. If you don't know what the Thramas campaign is and the Heresy, it's basically where the Dark Angels are just chasing Night Lords. They're just fucking chasing them throughout the entire fucking thing because Night Lords just end up fucking this whole fucking system of planets up. And Dark Angel's like, we're not gonna stand for this, you motherfucks. We're gonna kill all of you sons of bitches. And they get pretty close, but they don't. So they're doing this kind of Roach of Thramas on the Warhammer community. They've only done one so far. But I think that book is a lot further than we think it is. I was hoping that this book would be out in April. Then they said that they are not going to have a Horus Heresy Weekender. So that's where they would usually announce when that book is dropping, all that stuff. They would usually have like a pre-order going. If not, the book would be like special release at those Warhammer, at the Horus Heresy Weekenders. They're deciding not to do that. So, but I do think that book is a lot sooner than we would think. I think it's going to drop by the end of this year. I'm thinking like the latest it'll drop is November. But I was thinking that they're going to drip feed us like once a month until that book is out. Or at least a pre-order for it. I will be buying that book on the day that it is available for pre-order. I am not leaving anything to chance. DA was my first 40k army. It still is my only 40k army. It is going to be my 30k army. It is one that I love. That army is going to be so fucking big. My Luna Wolves are going to look like shit next to it. That is going to have all 6 wings. The Dreadwing, Iron Wing, Fire Wing, all of them, it's going to be there. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. I'm going to have like fucking 12,000 points of fucking Dark Angels. It's just what it is. They are my army. I have to show them the love. And I've been actually working on workups for black, so I can make sure that my black is on point when I start that army. So yeah, other than that, other projects that I do want to do for the Heresy, Solar Auxilia. I love those fucking models. That's one of the kind of only human armies, like base human armies that actually interest me, and those models are fucking gorgeous. So I'm gonna start some of that, and that'll probably be like my Horde army. Like that's the one that's gonna be, just dudes fucking flooding the field trying to get
troops choices are like 60.
Yeah, the troops choices are very expensive through Forge World. So
yeah, I think the smallest you can get a troops choice is 40. That's with specialized weapons.
Yeah.
If you're just doing regular weapons, it's a minimum of 60.
They're literally the rats of. They're literally the Skaven of fucking 30k. You need fucking so many little dudes on the field. But yeah, those are some of the projects. And like I said, for fantasy, I'm starting. I have Warriors of Chaos. I don't think I'm gonna go beyond that, just because the old world. They did announce that the old world is a new game, so it's gonna be Warhammer. I'm assuming Warhammer: The Old World, and they're linking it to like a Horus Heresy style game. there have been rumors, and especially backed up by one of our friends in the community that has a little more insight since he ran a store. He knows people that are still there at GW, kind of stuff like that. That apparently it's just going to be AOS with square movement trays. I would hate for that to happen just because AOS is AOS. Just the way Heresy kind of caters to an older style of gamer, I think they need that for the old world. I think they need to keep not just like do 8th edition fantasy, because I know a lot of people had problems with that, but take the basis of that and just improve where you know that you fucked up. And limit the magic somewhat so you don't have, the 6 dice purple sun that just ends a game on turn 1. You need to balance that out. I'm hoping that is really cool, but again, a lot of people are saying like, oh, you don't know. I think someone had tagged me on Facebook because they knew that I was putting out on our Red Star page. Hey, I'm doing 8th Ed Fantasy. Anybody wants to do that? Somebody tagged me. I don't remember who. Had tagged me and said, and they tagged me in some post that said, they don't make a game so that you can play with all your old toys. They make a game so that you could buy more. And I was like, yeah, I completely understand that. Like a lot of people are saying like, oh, it's just not going to be old fantasy. Okay, but when that game comes out, I'm gonna buy that rule book. I'm gonna study it. I'm gonna see if it's a game for me. If not, I still have 8th edition fantasy. I don't give a shit. I don't understand this whole thing of GW or Forge World isn't supporting it. Why don't you? Why would you ever play an older edition? Because whatever edition is currently out, I'm not having fun with. It was the same thing with 40K. Me and John are we're not having as much fun with current 40K. So we started doing Heresy, and we're having tons of fun there. You know what I mean? Just because it's not as popular, or at least in our community, it's not as popular there, or it's not thriving as it once was, doesn't mean that it's not fun. And I'm gonna play these games to have fun. And that being said, I hope that Mark joins us in one of the episodes, because he had an interesting perspective coming from a 40K back, like the 8th edition, because that was all he played, and then kind of showing him Heresy and how he took that. And he had a really interesting look on it. I don't want to speak for him, so we'll hopefully have another episode with him on it. But it's surprising. I thought it was surprising.
And that's all of this is not to say that we're giving up on 40K entirely.
No, not at all. I still have my army.
Yeah, Roman still has his Dark Angels. I still have my Death Guard, all of my beautiful new Death Guard models with all their fat bloatedness and stuff. I kept that. I did get rid of a lot of armies that I just wasn't playing with. There was no point in keeping them. They were just literally collecting dust, a lot of dust. But my Death Guard are my first love. That was my first army in 40K when we started in 7th, and so I've updated and kept them. And I will continue to play with them.
Yeah, exactly. So, we may not talk about 40K as much, but like I said, once that book does come out for Psychic Awakening, where DA gets a little bit of a boost, I'll at least try it out so I can give you my opinion.
And even if me and Roman aren't talking about 40K as much, we're gonna have interviews with people who are talking about it.
Exactly. Yeah, we're gonna have there's still tons of people that play 40K are still having way more fun than we would have it in Heresy comparatively, you know what I mean? So we will bring you those interviews. Is there anything else that you want to talk to before we get out of here?
So obviously the interview will be spliced in, so that'll just be inserted, I guess, somewhere around here. But no, I think we pretty much covered it. This is just our intro episode, our welcome back. So we're not going to get in depth into all the different topics that we are planning to go into. This is just, hey guys, what's up? We're back. We didn't die.
No, we did not. But I told you that I had my resolutions. So I have a few of them. I want to finish off my 3K of Luna Wolves because I have about 3K. That's just a low estimate. I want to finish my 3K of Warriors of Chaos for Fantasy. I want to at least start 1K of Dark Angels for 30K. I want to actually learn non-metallic metal techniques, which I've been looking into, and I think I can do really basic stuff, but you get into the nitty-gritty, I'm going to have to practice a lot. I want to learn OSL, which is Object Source Lighting. I want to build a fucking ZM board. I want to buy a 3D printer, which I think I'm going to buy within the next 2 months. I'll have a 3D printer, I think. Attend an actual airbrush class, because I know that there's some airbrush classes that come to Texas. And I knew there was a few that came to San Antonio specifically, and I just didn't have the cash to do it because they're pretty expensive, but I want to see what their techniques are and how I can improve. I want to run... Maybe I'll save that one for later. I want to run a fantasy event. I actually want to try to build up fantasy again and try to, even if it's just a 4-man little, narrative event. I want to do that. I want to try to do that. This one's very close to what you're listening to. Record podcasts. So hopefully this is the first step in the right direction for that. And I actually want to stream and do more YouTube videos on painting. I was doing streaming for video games, or I was testing out streaming. My internet isn't great, so it doesn't... I can't do video games, but I did notice that the camera, the webcam that I have is completely fine. So I'll probably try to work out a setup where I can do some, stream some live painting. If anything, it's just me painting, not really explaining anything, just so we can get more people to kind of hobby along with me. Because my whole thing is Red Star stance is you don't have to have fully painted. You don't have to have anything. I think it looks so much better when it is. So I just want to give you just a little bit of an encouragement. I'll be talking about my airbrush setup, which I'm gonna upgrade in a little bit. But just things like that, just so you can you start banging out even base coats. Just if you're getting an airbrush for base coats, kind of stuff like that. Just things that you can do to improve the way your games look, because eventually me and John want to actually do battle reports. We did one or maybe two. I think we only did one. So we only did one. It was 40K when 8th edition first dropped. I wanted to start doing that more consistently, but I do want to make sure that it's at least tabletop quality, just so it doesn't look like gray plastic. I don't think anybody wants to see that in a battle report. So we're gonna keep working on that. We'll start inviting more members of the Red Star community to come in and join in on games. That's probably where I'll play most of my 40K. To be honest with you, is probably going to be through battle reports. If we do battle reports, I'll do actual 40K there. Me and John will always do 30K. Maybe some fantasy battles. That's on the fucking way back burner. And AOS. Still love AOS. Still have 2 armies for that. They're in various states of paint. I do want to try to at least do 1,000 points of fully painted Seraphon. Because Zinch and Caradron Overlords are getting their books. I think pre-order happens this week. When you listen to it, it'll be a week old. They're getting their books. Fucking Seraphon still doesn't have fucking dick. Come on. I just need a new book. If we get endless spells, I'm sure they're going to be cool. They're going to be lizard or fucking frog themed. I'm going to fucking love them. I like reptiles. So I hope that's cool. And I hope that's a little sooner rather than later. Just because I think it's time for the lizardmen to stand up on those fucking Quetzalcoatl style rocks. They're no, what are those fucking pyramids called? They have a specific name. I'm dumb. Anyways, that'll be it for this episode. Again, we're going to splice.
Oh wait! I actually do have a resolution for the year.
Oh, okay. What's that?
And it's not about hobbying. My resolution for this year is actually to be more organized with events, not just the events that we throw, like the Mournival Weekly, Escalation League, but with the charities. I want to buy a calendar, like an actual fucking paper calendar.
Yeah.
And just write down all the events that we're going to be doing, that Red Star is going to be doing. I already put in vacation time for the Alamo GT. So I just want to be more prepared so that things move more smoothly than they have been in the past.
Yeah, that's kind of the big realization is me and John are woefully unprepared for everything that we do. Even myself, where I fucking chastised John for the Mournable thing. Like, God damn it, John, you're always fucking falling behind. What the fuck? You're not posting up your shit. And even I fell behind. Like, the last 2 weeks of the 30K side of the Mournable Weekly completely shit the bed. I was like, oh, I forgot. Like, 2 days went by. There wasn't as many games, and I need to find a way to pump up them rookie numbers. I need heresy. I need that thriving community. So I'm gonna find some fucking ways to buff that up, and especially since we'll be doing Mournable leagues more this year, I want to make sure that we pump up those heresy numbers, because heresy is the game that I truly love at the moment, and I want to make sure that it's brought back with the fervor it once had. I'm throwing out a lot of weird words that I don't use very often, but yeah, I like that. Either way, stay tuned for the interview with Caesar, and we'll see you in another 2 weeks.
2 more weeks.
Peace out, dudes.
Later.
I wish we had another. We gotta find. Fuck.
See you in the warp. It doesn't work anymore.
No, we'll figure it out.
Oh God, what have we done?
We'll ink those lost chapters. Fuck, it sucks. All right. Well, later, dude. Bye.
All right, guys. First off, before we start this, I want to apologize for any ambient background noise that you hear. We are using our mobile recorder, and we are outside, so it's a little windy. There's some traffic, so bear with us on this note. But we are here with Cesar Alzaga, who is going to be talking about the Fill the Van charity event that is coming up in this month at the end of January. So Cesar, why don't you go ahead and let our listeners know what to expect and what's going to be going on.
So on the 18th of January from 4 o'clock to 7:30 at Dragon's Lair Alamo Ranch, we're going to be doing a charity event, which is in support of the New Beginnings Children Home, which is it's an awesome cause. Which it's a facility for taking care of abused and neglected children from the ages of 5 to 17. They're there to help them with emotional growth and recovery, and prepares the kids for family reunification. So one of the big things is that they have requirements, which for toiletries is one of the primary ones. And Josh Reed, who is the mastermind behind assisting this facility, is he and I and yourselves and other members in the community are going to try to donate toiletries towards helping them with that need that they have in the shelter. So it's 40K, 1,000 points, chapter approved, and we're going to be using ITC missions. And so it's a come out and have fun, play some 40K, and really more than anything is to do something positive for the community. And so that's really the big key takeaways from this event that's coming up that we're going to be doing.
So by toiletries, obviously the word toilets in there, so toilet paper is a big thing. You got, I believe you said 18 total or 16 total beds.
Yeah.
So toilet paper is obviously a big necessity for taking care of that many kids. But there were other things that would be useful, which we're going to be.
You're going to be paper towels. The toilet papers was one of them. Toilet paper is one of them. Paper towels. remember we were actually saying, what was it? I'm trying to look. Let me just. So it's gonna be paper towels, toilet paper. I would even say Kleenex. Those are the primary ones is the toilet paper and the paper towels.
And I think Joshua had also mentioned sanitary pads and tampons for the girls.
Yes, absolutely. Sanitary pads and tampons definitely would be helpful with getting the facility, the shelter, squared away.
And so it's going to be 1,000 points. ITC, which most people already know that ITC has its own objectives and secondary objectives that you choose from depending on who you're playing. So you can choose stuff like hold the 4 corners or take down a knight, something with the X wounds. You get points for doing that. For taking down chaff units, I think, what is it, for every 20 bodies that you kill, you get a point. I think from when you're playing against like Tyranids and Guardsmen. 10, it might be 10. So I mean, most of you know how ITC works. If not, you can feel free to message any of us, and we'll get you those objectives for you to choose from. That list of objectives that you can choose from. We'll have some stuff, some printouts or whatever, ready for you to go on tournament day or game day. Yeah. Make sure you have your facts. Chapter Approved 2019, which just came out, and anything that is available for your army, such as supplements or the new Psychic Awakening stuff. All that's usable. What about I think they're called legacies or legends. Are you going to be allowing that?
Yeah, we're pretty open. So if somebody actually wants to bring legends, then yeah, that shouldn't be an issue. Or legacies, it shouldn't be an issue. More than anything, it's to have fun, throwing some dice. As long as they have it written, they have something written down in the rules. It really comes down to what they and their opponent agree on, before the game starts.
All right. And so again, this is January the 18th, starting at 4:30.
4 o'clock.
4 o'clock.
To 7:30.
4 o'clock to 7:30, and it's going to be, I think we said 2 games.
Yeah, probably most likely based on that time frame, I would say 2. If we're lucky, we might have to, talk with Josh, and we'll talk with the store if we need to slide it to the right a little bit more, because looking at 1,000 points to try to get more than 2 games is going to be very, very tricky.
Yeah. So you did mention that prize support is going to be random.
Yep.
So people don't have to worry about how many points necessarily that they're scoring. You don't have to be the power gamer and get 40 points. Of course, you can be. Obviously, this is just for fun. So if you want to, power game, you're more than welcome to. But just know going in that prize support is going to be random, so you don't have to get first place. So, anything else about this event?
Just come out. This is the first kind of, besides the Port Mall, I mean, this is like the first real event for the year, and it's first charity event for the year. So definitely come out, and you should have a good time. Throwing some dice. That's really the main key, and you're giving to an awesome cause. So that's really it.
Yeah. One of the amazing things about our community, Red Star and the San Antonio gaming community, is how active we are as a group with the whole charity thing. We did quite a few charity events last year, and we're gonna have more this year. So personally, I want to thank everybody in this group for doing what you do, for growing this community. It's not just about being a nerd. It's also contributing to your own hometown. We have a lot of people that are in need, and obviously, if you have enough money to be playing 40K, then you probably have enough money to help somebody, make sure they have the basic human necessities. So, guys, please come out even if you don't get a chance to play.
I already have my schedule for that week, and I'm working that day, but I'm definitely going to be contributing to filling the van, and so is Roman. So please, even if you don't have the time to play, come help us out. Drop off some toilet paper or sanitary napkins or whatever have you, whatever you decide you want to bring to this, because this is a very good cause. You know, these are kids who have no other means. So we hope to see you there, even if it's just to stop by and drop off a couple of grocery bags full of toilet paper and napkins and stuff. So 4 p.m. January the 18th.
Kickoff. Yep. Hope to see you guys there.
All right, guys. We'll see you then.